Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Howard Homestead. Or if it's your first time, welcome. We're so glad you found us. Now, before we get into today's video, I just wanted to thank all of you who stuck with me through the last one that I put out. I just also wanted to clarify something. The purpose of that video was not to complain, make anyone feel sorry for me, or anything like that. The purpose of the video was in the second half, and that was where I explained how God is using these situations in my life to teach me a lesson and what I'm learning from that. So anyway, if you have watched that and you made it through, God bless you. Thank you. And I definitely appreciate your prayers. If you haven't watched it, just a warning, it's pretty raw. So anyway, let's get into this week's video, and yeah, let's just get into it. Maggie, come on, it's time to go inside. It's too hot out here. You don't care? In the shade, it is 104. I don't think that's quite accurate, but Maggie. Hey, girl. She's totally ignoring me. I'm gonna have to go get the leash and bring her in. Stubborn little thing. So today we're going to do a couple of things that I haven't normally shown on here. I've been watching a channel on YouTube that has gotten me inspired and has really made me start to think. I was talking to my daughter yesterday, and I told her, I said, this person on the YouTube channel is making me uncomfortable to the point of wanting to make some changes. So I mentioned that I suddenly had an urge to bake bread, and my daughter, shout out to Alexis, she said, oh, I made bread a little while ago, and she sent me a recipe that she used. So we're going to give that a try today. It's a easy French loaf. It's a small loaf with just Daryl and me here. We don't need a lot, so I'm excited to give this a try. So this recipe calls for 6 ingredients that I already have on hand. It's flour, salt, honey, water, olive oil, and, my memory that bad? Yeast, of course it's yeast. I'm a little concerned, it calls for a tablespoon of honey. I'm a little concerned. I don't have honey. I thought I did, but all I could find was this little packet that I had in the fridge. And I know that honey doesn't go bad, and I asked our little gal in the Amazon devices here, I'm not going to say her name because I don't need her talking back to me, if it's safe to use honey, you know, that's been around a while. And she said that it's great to freeze, it doesn't go bad in the freezer or left at room temperature, but they don't recommend refrigerating it. Well, this has been in the refrigerator, so it was all like white and solid. I just microwaved it a little bit to get it back to the liquid state. I'm gonna see how this works. I don't know if it's enough. It calls for, the recipe calls for a tablespoon. Might be pushing it, but we're gonna give it a try. So I'm gonna start by adding 2 1/4 cups flour into the bowl here. This is a bowl of a stand mixer. There's 2. And 1/4. So 2 1/4 cups of flour. And then we need 1 teaspoon of salt, which I'm just gonna pull out of my little salt shaker here. That's 1 teaspoon. Always got to make sure it's the right size. I don't want to put too much salt in there. 1 teaspoon of salt. So this is where we're gonna see if the honey is gonna be sufficient. I have a feeling that the honey doesn't make too much of a difference. It's probably just to add a little sweetness to the bread. So let's see what we've got here. Yeah, it's not going to be a tablespoon. So we're going to use what we've got. See if I can squeeze a little bit more out of this packet. So I would say that that's probably a little bit more than half a tablespoon. So I'm sure it'll still be fine. We're going to go with it. It's too hot to run to the store. I'll just have to add honey to my shopping list. Alexa, add honey to my shopping list.
Honey added to your shopping list.
Okay, so we've got the honey in there. And then olive oil is next. And that's a half a tablespoon. I pulled out all the spoons, put them next to what we needed. So a half a tablespoon of olive oil. And then 6 ounces of warm water. So then it says, you put all that in the bowl and then sprinkle the yeast over the surface of the water to allow it to dissolve. So we're going to use a half a teaspoon of active dry yeast. Half a teaspoon. Put that over the water. And we're going to allow that to dissolve. So that's going to take a little bit. So while we're doing that, I'm going to work on some other things and I will be back for the next step once the yeast dissolves. Last week I started planting some seeds inside, and I have not had a whole lot of success. Well, I should give myself a little more credit. I'm still new to planting things. So I'm still learning, and I'm learning from my mistakes. Well, I made a mistake last week, and when I added the water to the peat pods to expand them, I did not empty all the extra water. So my peat pods were just not looking good, and they were getting moldy on top, and I'm like, oh great, I just ruined all of these seeds and these pods. And so I decided, I emptied the extra water, just hoping that maybe drying it out a little bit would help something happen. Because I have a friend, a shout out to Andy from church and work actually, and he has a garden that he grows in his yard, and he uses he doesn't have as much space as I have, so he uses containers, and he makes great use of the space that he has. So we're always comparing notes and sharing our successes and failures. And so anyway, he I don't remember what I was gonna say about that. Wow. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I emptied the extra water. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. He planted some corn seeds a day before I did. He did it on Tuesday last week. Mine was on Wednesday, and by Saturday, his were showing that they were, you know, this tall or so, and mine still hadn't even started germinating yet from what I could tell. So I was gonna just scratch the whole thing, start all over, and then last night, which was Tuesday, I came home and I was making dinner, and I looked over and I saw that my sunflowers had started sprouting. I was shocked. So I'm like, okay, well, let's just keep it going. And this morning we've got a few other things that are starting to poke through. So we got some slow starters here, but they're they're starting and they're gonna hopefully do okay. So I'm just gonna leave them be. I got some more seed starters and peat pods, and so I'm gonna start some more seeds today. And so anyway, yeah, here's what last week's planting is doing. So you can see the sunflowers on the far left there. They're all starting. Every single one of them has germinated and is coming up. Looks like we've got a Roma tomato coming in, the third one down. The third row over is the red bell peppers, and we've got a little guy right here that somehow didn't make it into the dirt, and he's popping up just on his own there. Looks like we've got a couple, or at least one zucchini popping up there. Yep, there's a couple of zucchinis. And then the corn. I did pull out one of the corns to take the seed out to see if anything was happening. And it was just barely starting. So that, like I said, that was my plan for today to empty all this out. But now I think I'm going to leave it and see what happens. Okay, so now our yeast is all dissolved, so we're going to mix this at a medium speed until the dough comes together. Maybe I should plug it in. This is the first time I've used this mixer, so oh, I guess there we go, it's locked now. Oh, what's going on here? This machine is new to me, but it was, can't remember where we got it from, but maybe this is why the person got rid of it. Alright, I would say that's come together now. We'll get that last little bit mixed in. And it says to change to a dough hook and mix for another 10 minutes. I thought I had a dough hook, but I'm not finding it, so I guess I'm gonna have to do this by hand. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes, so now I'm going to put this back in the bowl and cover it with plastic wrap and let it rise about an hour. Alexa, set a timer for 1 hour.
Good afternoon, Heather. 1 hour, starting now.
All right, so I've got 4 of these seed starter trays ready to go. I do have one more, but I'm just doing these 4 for right now. I am going to plant some spinach, lettuce, my favorite cucumbers. I have had so much hope for cucumbers and it never works out. Pray for me, guys. And then beets. Daryl loves beets. He loves pickled beets. So I'm hoping we can do something nice with these and he can have his pickled beets. So let's get these planted. Well, it's been a little over an hour. I've been letting this dough rise. So now we're going to knead it a few times on a floured surface, and then we're going to cover it with a dish towel and let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. Well, I'm outside at my raised garden beds on my front patio here, and I have got one of the beds ready to go. Added some more soil and you know, just broken it up, all the dirt and everything, just to kind of get it ready. And I'm going to try something new here. So I've been hearing a lot about loofah, and loofah is actually a gourd plant that grows kind of like a zucchini. Gets a lot bigger than that, but anyway, I'm fascinated by this, and I hear that it does really well in this area, and it's an excellent shade plant for other plants that can't handle so much direct sun. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to plant these, probably only about 3 seeds, maybe only 2, I don't know, on the back part of my planter box here. And so along the back side of my planter box here, I'm going to put these, and then these need a trellis because it's a vine and it's going to grow up huge, and you know, I'm hoping that it's going to shade this whole area. So yeah, I'm going to put a trellis up back here once it starts growing, and I'm hoping it'll shade this whole entire area so that I can put some plants down in the front of the bed that are not quite as adaptable to the direct sun, and then the loofah will help to shade that. So let's see how this goes. Bye-bye, fly. So these are supposed to be planted about 12 inches apart. So I think I'll put one right here. Maybe I can do 4 of them in here. One right here, here, and then over here. So we'll see how this goes. This is definitely something I've never tried before. So big black seeds, and we're just gonna put 1 in each hole here. Cover it up, and then I will get some water. That water is super hot. Okay, I'm gonna have to let it go for a little bit. This dirt is super dry, so I'm just giving it a real good soak in here. Just so that the water will actually get down to where the seeds are. I wasn't kidding when I said that water was scorching hot. It burned my hand right here. And that's out of the hose. Okay, time for the next step in our bread. And that is to take our dough and to, we're going to shape it into like an oval shape or a ball, whatever shape we want. And then I'm going to put it on the baking sheet and let it rise for another hour. This is taking a lot longer than I expected it to. You know, I mean, not that I mind. I'm just starting to run out of time today, and I hope I have time to actually bake it before I have to leave the house. Alexa, stop. But, yeah, you know, the instructions say it takes an hour and 20 minutes prep or whatever. Well, I don't think they included everything. So anyway, we're going to keep going, and we've come too far to turn back now. So I'm going to shape this into an oval, and then I'm going to put it on the baking sheet and let it rise for an hour. Okay, so it's been an hour. The dough has had some time to rise, so I'm just preheating the oven, and we're going to get ready to put it into the oven to bake. So let's take a look at it. Oh, look at that. So we are going to take the tip of a knife here and just slit it down the middle. And then we're going to take some olive oil and brush it all over the top. And last but not least, the recipe calls for a little bit of salt to just sprinkle over the top. So about half a teaspoon. I'm just gonna do it here. So there we go. All right, it's time to take the bread out of the oven. That looks really good. I'm not too sure about the salt on top. I've never had that before, but can't wait to try it, and might have to dig into it while it's still warm. Give it a minute to cool off a little bit though. Don't want to burn my other hand. All right, here we go. Wow. That is really good. I'll definitely be making this again. So before I end this video, I just wanted to take a moment to say a sincere and heartfelt thank you to a group of individuals who were so generous. Your generosity means so much, and believe it or not, it helps to feed the goats for a month. So thank you very, very much. We appreciate it. So anyway, I got to go feed these pigs now. They're screaming at me. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to press that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I gotta go take care of these pigs. We'll see you next time.